Well, hello everyone, and I am so glad you're here. I just love more than anything to teach, and today we're going to learn a lot about sugar cravings and my personal story on how I had uncontrollable sugar cravings, where it led me to, which basically was ruining my life, and most importantly, how to stop it. So if you're someone who's struggling with these uncontrollable sugar cravings, there's actually a reason why you have them. And once you understand that, you can stop them for good so that you can get your life back like I did. So I'm going to wait a few minutes here, see if anyone else is going to pop on, because you could ask a question. There is a link there for you to ask a question or say a comment. I'll be able to see them here as well. And it feels like you're part of this as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, my name is Michelle Hart. I want to thank you so much for joining. Today, we're going to learn how sugar cravings wrecked my life and how to stop. So I'm going to start by sharing how that all started. So for me, my personal story is that I've been fit my whole life. But what happened was I wasn't feeding my body properly. And one of the things that I was ingesting a lot of was sugar. And this is at a time when I was in my later teenager years, in my early 20s, and I've been athletic my whole life. So I just wanted something quick and fast that would give me the energy. But what happened was the more that I ate, the more that I craved, the more that I had to have. So it was actually taking over my life to the point of, oh yeah, I remember this one day. So here I am, after a day out on the beach being very active. I wanted to eat. And so because I didn't know anything about nutrition, I was about 27. I remember the days when I would just go out to the ice cream store and literally just fill my face with licorice ice cream. And that was my dinner. And if I was still hungry, which sometimes you are, because sugar doesn't really satisfy your nutrition. So there's a hint right there. Your body's asking for more food. So you wonder why you keep eating. Then I would go to the coffee house and grab some kind of pastry with a cream-filled, latte of some sort. So here I am having caffeine and all the sugar, and you wonder why I didn't sleep. Well, this led me to the aging disease that became very rapid in my body, and that was osteoporosis. So the sugar, the excess fitness, and I was basically had the body of an 80-year-old grandma when I was only like 32, 27, 32, that kind of age. And the reason is because I obviously was eating too much sugar. So we hear about sugar being connected to feeding cancer. Well, it also connects to other things. One for me was the osteoporosis. Now, if I continued on this path, then likely I'd be standing here, maybe not standing here, because that could lead to cancer. Absolutely. So it's a serious matter. So if you're watching this and you are looking to take action, really pay attention. I want you to start with a notebook and a piece of paper. A piece of paper and a pen, because you're going to be testing yourself to see if you have what's driving the sugar craving, which you're going to learn what it is right now. So I'm going to share my screen and pull it up. Just one moment. I did practice this, so just give me a sec. Yeah, because I take this kind of stuff seriously. I want to make sure that your time is well used. Okay, so you are in for a treat. This is what I teach my current clients. So you're going to learn free training, and you're going to learn parts of what I teach my clients on how to get them slim, strong, and sexy. So, we know sugar is going to lead to weight gain, but it's also going to lead to weakness as well. So that's why when we start to pay attention to these things, we get to lose weight, but we actually get to get strong as well and feeling sexy. So you're going to get part of the training that I do for my personal clients right now. And if you're interested in learning more, please get a hold of me and I'd be happy to share the program with you. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to start by always having you think about your ideal self and who do you want to be? Where do you want to go? like it's really important to know what you want or even what you don't want, but really, how do you see yourself where you want to be? Because really, you know, you have potential. That's why you're watching this. And it's all about realizing your potential. And it's always really important to anchor a really strong image of who you want to be or who. And so this is how I usually start with my clients is I have them think of a slim, strong, sexy woman. Okay. If you're a male and you're watching this, you want to think about something that would be in a male form. So this is something always to anchor to because your goal. Okay, so today it's going to end right now. What does that mean? You'll have a solution to the sugar cravings so that you can move forward into who you want to be. Okay, it's actually really easy. So myself, I am a clinical nutritionist. So what you're going to learn is something that will be game changing to help you sugar cravings. Okay, and the training really is part of the self-test assessment that I offer my clients when they first come to me, because if they're not where they want to be, there is something that is off. Something is wrong, and the body is just sharing this with you with signs or symptoms. And so when someone comes to me, I always test to see, what is your body saying? We read the body because the body is so wise. It's giving you signs and symptoms for a reason. It's saying, fix me. So in this case, we have sugar cravings. That is a really good sign or symptom that is leading to a root cause where the problem is. And you're going to learn about really where the problem is. So when you know what that is, you can solve it, you can stop the sugar cravings, and then get to your ideal self. It's really just like that. So it's like a flip of the switch, as you can see on the screen here. Where I see a lot of busy people struggle with actually figuring this out on their own is they struggle with trying to find the next pill or the next shiny object. Oh, this will stop sugar cravings, this one pill, or if I just stop this one food, this will stop it. But really, it's deeper than that. Okay. And when you know what the root cause is, then you can fix it. So the second reason why most busy people fail to fix their sugar cravings is they don't give it a long enough time. They start, they stop, they start, they stop. Really, your body needs to be trained to stop eating sugar and start eating the good foods. So we need to give it a bit of time. You'll know how much time today, but you're going to need to give it some time so that it can reset. Okay. And the third thing is you're relying basically on self-motivation or willpower. Well, when it comes to sugar cravings, and if they've gone too far, that's a failed approach. Why? You're going to learn why that is right now, because all the will be what it is today. And what is that? Well, when it comes to sugar cravings, we're going to look to see if there's a Candida overgrowth. What is Candida? You've likely heard of what Candida was. We're going to learn a little bit more about it. We're actually going to test to see if you have high levels of that, because when you do, you can solve it. And then your sugar cravings go away just like that, and you can get your life back and be who you're meant to be. Okay, so I'm going to stop this share and I'm going to go right to Candida. So I'm going to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, one sec. Oh yeah, now I know I'm doing it right. Yeah. So on the screen, you likely see a Candida questionnaire. So I'm going to be going through these signs and symptoms one by one, and you're going to write one for if it's a mild symptom that you're experiencing, or sometimes you experiencing this one sign or symptom. If you would mark a 2 if it's more moderate or if it's more often, and a 3 if it's like super severe or you have it all the time. If you don't have it, just leave it blank. At the end of this questionnaire, we're going to total it up and we're going to see if you pass the threshold to see if Candida really is driving the sugar cravings. And then we're going to create some solutions so that we can stop it right now. So so you've got your pen, your paper. Let's start with number 1. If you've had repeated use of antibiotics or birth control pill. If you have cravings for sugar, bread, or alcohol. If you have discomfort after eating fruit, like a bloated feeling or sweets. If you have, this is a good one, if you have severe reaction to perfume, tobacco, someone smoking beside you, or chemicals, that one's a sure sign that you've got some Candida going on. That's driving the sugar cravings. If you have an intolerance, God forbid, of alcohol or wine, you drink it, you flush, you feel horrible. If you're hypersensitive to just regular everyday foods, if you have diarrhea or constipation, okay, this is a sure sign. If you have rectal itching, or if you have reoccurring bladder infections. If you look at your tongue and it's coated white, that's a sign. If you have scratchy throat, chronic. If you feel bad without any apparent cause when you wake up. If you're in a mental fog, you have this brain fog issue. If you have psoriasis, anything come up on the skin? Yeah, psoriasis, hives, skin rash. If you're depressed or you have anxiety. If you are feeling drained. Here's another sure sign, athlete's foot, toenail fungus. We know you have Candida. That's a given, okay? Because now it's showing up on your skin. It's gone pretty far. If you have some allergies or sensitivities to airborne molds, black mold, that would be a really good one. So if you react to that, if you can't have fermented foods, you react. If you're a female, you have menstrual cramps, that is a sign of Candida or PMS. If you're a female and you have burning or itching or vaginal discharge, that is a sign of Candida. It's more localized. If you have a history or have endometriosis or uterine fibroids. If you're a male and you have prostate problems, or if you have impotence, or if you have an itchy penis or groin. Those are signs that you have Candida. So what you're going to do is you're going to add up all your scores. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, so if you have a score of 8 or higher, we've got some Candida going on. If it's higher, then you've got like severe, all right? This is a soft test, but it's something to really pay attention to. So let's take a step back and go, what really is Candida? So Candida is an overgrowth of yeast-like fungus, okay? Now this fungus normally, just so you know, it's not all bad. It's not. We need a certain amount of it in our intestinal tract, in our vagina, around our penis, in the mouth, or surrounding, like on top of our skin, external. And it's actually there for a reason. It keeps our healthy bacteria vigilant. What that means is it's got it keeps them on point. It keeps them healthy because they need to keep Candida in check. And so it keeps them strong, right? But what happens is if they are left to an environment that makes them grow the Candida, then they overtake our healthy bacteria. And that's where the problem lies, okay? And it can get so bad that it can actually, if it inhabits your intestinal tract, it will burrow holes through the intestinal tract because your intestinal tract's like a tube. These Candida organisms that are in the tube will actually grow and burrow holes. They'll make like a cave. They'll open up the holes like they're trying to get out of prison, and they're going to attach to other organs in the body. Now you have fungus like pancreas, fungus like liver, fungus like thyroid. It will attack your weak organs. That's where it gets really nasty. Okay, we don't want it to get to that point. If you are at that point, you can still turn this around. But if you're getting to that point, we really need to turn this around. Otherwise, it will get worse, and it will get worse pretty quickly. Okay. And so we're going to wonder, like, if you've had Candida and you've reversed it, and you've had Candida and you've reversed it, like these yeast infections come and go. There was a dentist that actually shared one of the reasons why it does keep coming back And it's because of, if you look in your mouth and you have mercury fillings or amalgam fillings, and they are leaking into the bloodstream, that is actually what's driving this. You can't get rid of the Candida issue, all right? Because it has an interplay with the Candida, and the Candida thrive on that, and the Candida keep coming back. So there is something to think about, is looking at your dental work and making sure that you are working with somebody who can guide you into removing the mercury properly, which I have done many, many times, because there is a technique. You wouldn't just take the mercury out without doing the pre and post. That is dangerous. But if you do have metal fillings, please get a hold of me. I'd be happy to share how to safely get them out so that you can fix these sugar cravings for good. Because really, if you don't, your situation may never be corrected. Okay, so that is something that you're going to want to pay attention to. Okay, so there are reasons why, if you don't have the amalgam fillings and you're still wondering why you have this Candida, well, I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why. The first one is if you're on medication, and the medication would be antibiotics, if you've had a history of antibiotics, or birth control pills. They actually allow the Candida organisms to grow. It's the environment to allow them to grow. And when they do, they overtake our good bacteria. And now you have a situation of Candida overgrowth. And unless you do the right things, they will keep growing, which will be very difficult for you to stop the sugar cravings unless you tackle this. And again, you're going to want to work with somebody who is clinically trained, who can work with medications, which I am, or others you can find, but just make sure the person you hire has worked with this before, okay? Because there are certain medications you need to titrate down. Others, you can go right off. I've worked with this for 21 years, so happy to help. Even just ask me a question, or work with somebody who's worked with this before. Poor diet. Well, we know that the wrong type of foods are going to grow these Candida organisms, all right? So you're going to learn actually what they are today. So that's the first one. The second one is mercury exposure. You can get them from your amalgam fillings, but also you can be eating the wrong type of fish. The wrong type of fish is going to put in a type of mercury that will actually make the Candida grow. And so you're going to want to know what that is. Just make sure the fish you are eating is low mercury. The third one is we have a low stomach acid issue. And that's important because if you have enough acid soak when you eat your foods, then it will keep Candida in check. If not, you will always have some level of Candida because it's the acid soak that allows the cutback of this Candida so it doesn't overgrow. That is so, so important. Again, the other training I did on poor digestion, if you want to look back, I think it's the one just before this, revisit that because it will actually share with you if this is the case, because you'll do a digestive questionnaire and it will give you solutions. Okay, again, I'm here if you need help. Now, I'm going to give you some quick solutions how to reduce these Candida levels so that you can stop the sugar craving and get on with your life. Okay, so now we did talk about give it enough time, because remember when I shared with you before, the struggles that most busy people make when trying to stop the sugar cravings is they don't give it enough time. You need to give it some time for the body to reset, and it's 30 days. Just block off 30 days, and if not, you got to block it off sometime. Might as well start now. So the Candida diet. So for 30 days, here is the Candida diet, what to avoid. All sugars, because sugar feeds Candida. That's a no-brainer. So that means that you're going to look at your labels, and you're even going to natural sugars like maple syrup, honey, coconut sugar, agave nectar, which you shouldn't have anyways, not a good sugar. You're going to want to avoid those for 30 days. You're also going to need to avoid alcohol because that is a sugar to the body, okay? Your drinks, if they're flavored, if they're kombucha drinks, they're likely flavored with sugar. It's a form of sugar to the body anyways, even though it's fermented and it's supposed to be healthy. That needs to be avoided. In fact, all fermented foods need to be avoided. Why? Because they're going to grow the fungus if you don't. You can introduce them after 30 days, just not for the first 30 days. This also includes vinegars, not apple cider vinegar. That is a questionable one. I've seen research that shares that it's actually helpful, especially topical in the vagina when you can soak your vagina in apple cider vinegar. I've had clients stop their yeast infections by doing that. And this also eating plan with my guidance. It's really helped them. Ketchup has sugar, so you'll need to read your ingredients, okay? So we talked about fermented foods. We talked about fermented drinks, dairy products. That is a big no because that will feed Candida. So we're going to eliminate all dairy for 30 days. Butter is not considered dairy in this category, so you can have butter. No grains, no beans and legumes, and most nuts and seeds. Why? Because they are high in an amino acid called arginine. Arginine promotes the growth of Candida. So we're going to avoid nuts and seeds. Yeah, it sounds pretty limiting, but you know what? It's only 30 days. And if you do this right, it will stop your sugar craving so you can get your life back. This is what I did, okay? It took me, I did this with other things, but this is part of the plan to stop these sugar cravings because you don't want to have them anymore, do you? Is it not ruining your life? Is it not something that you think about all the time? Is it not something is it like overtaking your own power? Because if that's the case, why is that worth it? Why don't we just take care of this for good? Just think of how great your life is going to be when you don't have this overreaching sugar craving. You can actually start to enjoy foods again and get your body back. If not, what's the long-term solution? Well, it could be osteoporosis, it could be cancer, all these things. It's a serious matter. So what we can have is we can have vegetables. We can have healthy fats and oils. We can have lemon juice. And here you can see apple cider vinegar, definitely protein, low mercury protein, herbal teas, whole fruits, 1 serving a day. That is questionable. It depends on the amount of Candida you have. So that would be something on a case-by-case basis. Nuts and seeds. It's showing here to have. I would only do 1 seed, and that would be flax seeds ground. I wouldn't do anything else. Because that's going to help excrete the toxins because they'll supply a bowel movement that will allow you to get rid of the aftermath. What that means is there's going to be a battle. When your body goes after the Candida, there's going to be a battle. Why? Because the good guys are going to take care of the bad guys, all right? And there will be an aftermath. You want to have regular bowel movements to excrete the after effects of that. Otherwise, you will be recirculating your toxins and you wonder why you have brain fog and things aren't working well upstairs. It's because of that. Natural sweeteners, yeah. So think about stevia. That's it, just stevia. Lemon and lime are good as well. I use those for sweeteners. You're going to want to think about having liver-friendly foods. Why? Because the liver is your immune organ. The liver is going to help with blood sugar balance. A lot of people don't know that. There are foods that you can eat to actually support the liver. And of course, the program that I have, we use drops to clear away the toxins from the liver so that the liver can regenerate. So anyone watching this, let me know. They're called Undas and they work every single time. It's like your SWAT team. They help you get through this quicker, faster so that you're successful. That's where the detox comes in. The detox is you really want to make sure that your organs that remove the toxins are working well. What are they? Liver, kidney, gut. Those need to be healthy for you to remove the toxins while your body goes after the Candida, and then everything works so beautifully because you have your life back and your body. So we talked about the diet, what to have, what to not have. We talked about the importance of detox. Why? So that you don't recirculate the toxins that are being released. And we can talk a little bit about supplements. If anyone here is looking for something like this and they feel they really want to tackle this because they know the long-term effects if they don't, then please get a hold of me because this would actually be customized to you. And I use homeopathics because they work. They will actually work faster than others in my personal clinical experience. That is, of course, and they are safe, okay? And they work very effectively. That way you don't have the sugar craving, so you can eat the foods that will stop the growth of Candida, and everything works so much easier. What are you going to expect when these Candida levels are down? Well, your sugar cravings disappear, and so does the extra weight. So they go hand in hand. So you get slim, you feel strong, and you definitely feel sexy. Because how do you feel sexy if you have like an itchy body? Not really, right? So that's something to think about. And it's the real deal. So if you want to commit to you, I'm here for you. And it's fun for me because I see transformations. So I do have Candida Cleanse. It's just one kit. And again, if anyone here is watching this and they're interested in something like that, you know, really it does take a call, and I get to meet you, which would be really nice for me. And we can connect and I can see if I can help you. And if it feels right for you, I'm here. But I am going to end in one more share before we end today's call. Just one moment. I hope you've enjoyed today. So where I'm going to end this is the following. Once I get my slide. So here's the thing. If you've been watching this and you're really ready, just even to take one step, just one step, one simple step, and you're ready to commit to you because you know what happens if you don't, and you're ready to be the hero, the everyday hero, the person that you know you're meant to be, then I highly, highly recommend that you book a call. Just send me a direct message saying, you know, I'd like to have a chat with you about this. This is interesting. Great. And so send me a message down below, and we can set up this call. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some more questions. And if we're fit to work together, I'd be more than happy to help you stop your sugar cravings, get to your optimal that you are looking to be, so that you can be the person that you're actually here to be. All right. So I'm going to end this now, and I'm going to go back here. So I want to thank you so much for joining today. It was a quick call, but an important one, because I hope that it opened up your eyes to why you have the sugar cravings and how to stop the sugar cravings. Again, if you're ready to do this, I'm ready for you. Okay, so send me a message, and we'll start the conversation with a nice phone call, you and me. I want you to have a great rest of the day. And if you're watching the replay, again, you can send me a message as well, and we can fix this up so you can enjoy your day. Okay, we'll talk again. Okay, we'll see you next week. Next week, we're going to be talking about some, what are we talking about? I think we're diving into thyroid. So next week, we're going to dive into your metabolic engine, which is the thyroid, and how to get that working again. All right, so we'll see you next week with at 12 o'clock Wednesday.